to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
First item on the agenda is to approve our agenda.
Second.
Motion by Gage, second by Weiss. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. This time we'll open the meeting up for any public comments or anyone that would like to address the Brown County Commission this morning on any issue that isn't on the agenda. In person, on the phone, online. Going once, going twice. We'll move on. Rachel Kipley, Fair Manager, to the appointment of the inaugural Junior Fair Board members. Good morning.
Guys, first I wanted to introduce, this is Amanda Gebro. She's going to be working out at the fairgrounds for the summer, doing a lot of social media and various things, so.
Welcome.
Morning.
She's a college student at SDSU, so she's with us for a bit. But yeah, this is a very simple thing. The Fair Board held interviews with all candidates and then spoke with them and had a motion at their last meeting to go ahead and give this a try. We first learned about it at some of the IFE conventions, that a lot of them were trying these junior fair boards. Biggest goals with it is obviously you get some younger and more help. You also create that connection with the next generation. A lot of times some of those activities we're doing out there we've been doing for decades, and you want new ideas, and these kiddos can kind of provide that for us. And then finally, just to create that connection with the fair. The hope is that in years to come, potential fair board members will rise out of that junior fair board. So those are some of the goals that we have with it. We do appreciate Harms Oil for sponsoring the first junior fair board. They've given some money to get them some t-shirts and some food and keep them active out there. So yeah, that's you'll notice a lot of familiar names on the list for the junior fair board. A lot of them are nieces, nephews, kids of folks that have been involved in the board before. So the liability side of it, we had talked about earlier this year. We had them sign a media release, code of conduct, liability, waiver, medical treatment. You know, we know all their allergies, all that stuff, so they've all filled out a packet before they're allowed to be on the board, similar to what we do for our 4-H'ers. So we would entertain any questions.
At last week's Fair Board meeting, Drew and I were there, and the interview team spoke very highly of the young people and how impressed they were with their ideas and just the way they presented themselves and interviewed well. So they were very impressed and glad to make the recommendation.
Awesome. I think it'll be exciting to get all these kids on there. I mean, as we all know, a big part of the fair is kids and 4-H. And it should be some good ideas to keep pushing it forward.
Well, it gives them some responsibility and buy-in into what's going on and develop into the future. It's a good way to get their feet wet and have an understanding of what all goes into it.
And that was one of the biggest comments we had, is the quickest thing to kill it is if you just use them as worker bees all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there's going to be some grunt work, but if you look on the other side, just some of the ideas they had and some of the things that they could really help with, to let them take ownership of projects and give them that feeling of, hey, I'm not just slave labor here, I'm contributing, so to speak. So.
Will they get golf carts?
The ones that are old. Everybody gets a golf
We
cart.
struggle to find enough golf carts. In fact,
okay.
we never have enough, but I think what we talked about doing is sharing.
Oh, okay.
So if we're working on something for a few hours, they can take it.
Oh.
But we're not gonna let them drive the golf carts unless they're obviously.
Get an extra loader or two.
Yeah.
A driver's license, and, yeah, because some of them are not that age.
They can't drive a blade either.
So I guess I would ask for an appointment to an official junior fair board if you guys were so inclined.
I would move it.
Second.
Motion by Dennert, second by Weiss. Is there any further discussion? This is a good idea, so thank you for bringing it forward. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
That's all we have, unless you
Very
got
good.
questions for us.
Awesome. Thanks
All right,
for sharing that.
have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right, next up, Dirk Rogers, Highway Superintendent. We're gonna talk snow blowers.
Yep.
You're on time for a change.
Just when
Yeah, I was
we're
kind of
done talking
excited to
about
come up here today,
here.
I don't think anybody's mad about snow blowers, but I guess we'll find out.
After you don't need
When are you gonna
one.
use it this summer? That's what's gonna make the difference.
When will we use it this summer?
We'll be lucky to get it by next year.
Well, that's also a reason why we're talking about it right now, is the availability, but, okay, eventually, the goal here is I'm gonna get to the page 2, and that's what I would like to purchase, but I wanna give you a little background, for perspective. So the copies of the typewritten stuff, those are the 3 that we have right now that we use on the main road. We also have a couple smaller ones for skaters, that's not really part of this conversation, you know? First one, you can see it's a 70 Oshkosh. All these run right now, with the exception of this one on the bottom, the loader blower. We're waiting for parts to come back. We're going through a $13,000 repair on that one to put one of the augers back together. So, and I wanna keep all these, because this past winter showed us that it is kind of it's a bit of our weak point, probably. And like I said, everything's running, but just a couple qualifiers. That top one had the original, blower taken off of it. I don't know how we got to that conclusion for the repair, but at any rate, what's on it is not what should be on it. It's actually quite overpowered for what's on there for a blower. It works, but, you know, it's 1970 and it's been modified. The second one on there is a pretty good machine. It's great. It's actually a runway blower. Again, works great going down the road, but as you might guess, a runway blower is made to blow a runway, and when you get off the road or on the edge, it kind of wreaks havoc with the gears and stuff in there, because they're not made for that. But again, we're using it, it's fine. And then the third one on there is a 2001 loader-mounted snow blower that we bought in 2001, so it's 22 years old, 21, something like that. And like I said, I'm not saying we didn't have any minor repairs over the years. Doesn't have a lot of hours on it, it's only like 3,000 hours on it. And so, we're gonna keep that one too. So I started through the process to come up with, okay, what do we need? And we tried to get something with a tractor that we could use to mow, and then have a, you know, kind of the sweet spot, not too big to run the mower, but big enough to run the snow blower. And the cost of that just got prohibitive in a hurry because of the tractors right now. So the logical thing, since we've already made investments in our 4-yard loaders, I figured would be to pair another loader blower with that. The downside is your ground speed when you go from place to place. I mean, if you're only moving at a mile, no big deal. But if you're gonna blow here and then now you gotta go 30 miles away, which I hope are a little more organized than that, but if you do have more, you know, it's not as responsive because of that, and you can put on the low boy and move it, but that adds, you know, that's another hour of loading and unloading. So that's the downside of the loader blower. Outside of that, I think it's the best way to match up to what our equipment is now and kind of update the whole deal.
Even a self-propelled unit is not easy to get around.
You know, and Mike, I would love one of them, like this Truck 64, if we could find another 70s Oshkosh that had like some interstate days and not been beat up too bad. But usually we're buying something real similar to what we already have. You know, if you could find a good one, in the similar reasonable price range, but, we'll keep looking. And I'm not saying I wouldn't turn around and buy another $20,000 Oshkosh if we stumbled into it just to have it, you know. But at any rate, my request today would be, if you go to the second page, so that, you know, little, big picture economics, this is exactly the same snow blower as the one on the front page. It's just it's exactly set up, it's got whatever updates and technology increases there are, but it's the same, it's a 21-year increase, and you can see the price tripled. So, what is that, every 7 years your money's supposed to double? Isn't that how that works? Something? Yeah, well, it does on snow blowers apparently. So, now, that's the request, and that's what Lynn and I were just looking at. I would like to use the snow money, that little history on that. I don't know when the levy sunset on it, but it was before 2000, because when I came here, that money was sitting there, and it was whatever, about 600 and something, and we bought the snow blower one, I think, and without going through every year, I'm pretty sure that's the last year we spent any money out of there. So that balance has been 434, is that what you just? 423. Trying to squeeze an extra 11 grand out of there, but,
That's right.
you never know sometimes.
Close enough.
So I want to use that money, and that's what I was talking with Lynn about, is I do not expect the trucks we have ordered to show up, and I have about 300,000 left in equipment that was gonna go for the trucks. If those don't show up by the end of the year, then you wouldn't have to do a budget supplement, but I would still like to use the restricted snow money to buy the snow blower so that we use it. If for some reason the trucks show up and we spend the other 300 at the end of the year or sometime, you'd have to do a supplement with the snow money, because I'd go over the budget. But between that and that other, I'm getting out in the weeds here, but we have another bridge project that's not gonna we aren't gonna have expenditures on it as quickly this year as I had anticipated, so.
You're not gonna use this for paving.
No. But at the same time, with another comment about the snow money, and I know what it's for, but I've tried to figure out in 21 years of what we've had for winters, and we haven't had a 96, 97 again, but, I know, but, I haven't been anywhere near the point where I'm like, oh my God, we might have to access the emergency snow money, and part of that is because you get new money at the start of the year. So you would have to have an epic blizzard in October, November, December, to the point that you are working, I think I figured it out, almost double, like 80-hour weeks, 80-hour weeks with everybody, in my opinion, before you get into some very, very unmanageable monies there.
Mm-hmm.
My point is, I don't know when we'd spend that, because if you can get to the first of the year, then you're into next year's budget, and when the winter's over, you got the rest of the year to try to recoup your stuff and move your chess pieces around, so,
Well, that's okay. You saw what the state did though, but that was a little bit different situation.
yeah.
Supplement to supplement.
Yeah. So, and really, the snow thing, and like I said, we'd have to wreck equipment. I mean, we'd have to have just extensive equipment wear and a whole bunch of overtime. And even if we spend 186, there's still 240,000 in there. And you're talking the payroll for the whole highway department over the year is $1.5 million. So that, you still have, about what,
a year.
Yeah, a few months worth of. So I just don't think it's a risky purchase is what I'm getting at. So
The engine runs on the snow blower, is that required DEF?
this one will. The other one doesn't. That's just like everything else. I think it says it's tier 4, isn't it? Yeah, tier 4, so it's gonna have that.
It doesn't say that anywhere, I was just reading through that, that's why I was
Right.
curious.
Trying to find multiple quotes for similar equipment, it's just something that's not out there in the market.
Well, they are out there. I didn't include that. This is a short low bid, so I mean, you can legally purchase off it. The other,
Okay.
I'll tell you the two things with the literature. First off, on the front page of that literature, how the hell are they blowing that snow into somebody's driveway? I like it. He's just throwing it right in the yard. We'd be in trouble.
That's what they do in Sioux Falls.
Yeah, I know.
Not taking the siding off.
If you look at, bending the fans on their central air unit. If you look on that page, the thing on page 2, the reason why we like this model, and this goes a little bit to your question, Mike, is it's got 2 augers on the front, and that allows you, with those augers and the fins that are out there on the sides, that allows you to actually steer it.
It's adjustable.
Yeah, I mean, when you go into the snowdrift and you want to tweak over a little bit, because you have those augers out in front, and then those bands will kind of line it up, and the augers will pull you in there. The other ones don't have the augers. I'm not saying all of them are that way, but some of them either have 3 augers, which are lighter, and then they break quicker, or they have 1 in there that doesn't really pull it in much, or like the Fairs don't have any. They just have 2 fans in the front, and they walk in. So, I mean, we do go through and look at the different ones. This is the one that you know, along with the fact that that other one, this is our first major expenditure on the other one in 21 years.
Well, it's good to know it does have specific tendencies, the way it's designed.
Yep.
Undesirable.
Yep,
You need a motion?
I do.
Move.
Motion by Weiss, second by Feldheim. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
That was about the culvert.
Yep.
The Jim River's up an inch this week and the Crow's up 9. And the Jim's at 15 down from the top of the wall, and the Crow's 39 down from the top of the wall. So you got 2 foot of freeboard in there yet. The Crow's 2 foot below. So, and don't write this on there this way. Natty, I wrote that down and went, huh. All right, you guys, anything else?
Not for me.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Dirk.
You bet, thank you guys.
Thanks, Dirk.
We'll go blow some snow now.
Better not have to use it now it's about one.
You know, I have to tell you, when we bought the one in 2001, after 3 years, it had 4 hours on it. And that was test firing it every year, making sure it was good. And then one of our favorite former employees took it down and ran it through Mrs. Dudenhofer's lilac bushes, and that was our 4 hours that we got on it. So we knew it would go through lilac bushes.
You take pictures.
There you go.
All right,
Have a
thanks,
beautiful
Dirk.
day, thank you.
All right, we'll move on to the consent calendar.
Approval of the general meeting minutes from May 9th.
Oh,
Second.
Motion by Weiss, second by Feldheim. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Claims.
Move.
Motion by
Second.
Gage, second by Dennert. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
HR reports.
Move. Motion by Feldheim,
Second.
second by Gage. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Leases.
Motion by Dennert,
Second.
second by Feldheim. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Claim assignment.
Move. Motion by Feldheim, second by Weiss. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Malt beverage and South Dakota farm wine license renewal.
Move.
Motion by Weiss,
Second.
second by Gage. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Any other business to come before the Brown County Commission this morning? If not, we've had a request to go into executive session for personnel, legal,
I've got a small contract.
contract, okay. Move. Motion by Feldheim,
Second.
second by Weiss. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We are in exec. Camera's back on.
I hope you didn't have the camera when I said that. I know a lot of people showing up.
No, I just turned it back on. All right, we're out of exec with no action as a result. Is there anything else to come before the Brown County Commission this morning?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Feldheim, second by Weiss. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Feldheim.